ago, but the memories will remain. And, I feel a little bit different today.
It's hitting you, right?
It's hitting me today. It is. I'm looking at this building and we say, wow, how grateful I am to have been part of such a great organization and great city.
Yeah.
It could have been somewhere else, but here, this is so special.
Well, you first came here when hockey first came here. You were one of the original Flyers, and then you left and you came back to be great. But when you first came here and you first started playing baseball, how was it?
Well, let me take you back quickly. I remember the first introduction we got to the city was we had the whole team on the float on Broad Street. And I think the only thing that showed up was a Great Dane and a poodle. Maybe we'll see those two today. Who knows? But the reason I share this is because the amazing story behind this is 7 years later we had won the championship and we had over 2 million people.
Yeah, how about that? That's incredible.
That scene on Broad Street, the parade. I remember being a little kid looking up at everybody. So all you saw was a sea of people. People climbing on lampposts and stop signs and hanging out of buildings and all over just to see you guys and cheer you guys. And you were such a part of that community.
It was, and the amazing part is not too long ago I signed a stub of a hockey ticket for $73.74.
Yeah.
$9.50.
Yeah. And those were the good seats.
Oh, of course. Now, and the reason it was so great is because it was a big family thing.
Yeah.
And then people, hey Johnny, how's your son doing or whatever. It was a big, it was different. It's great now, but it was different. It was nice in those days. And when people. It doesn't matter how much money you have. I was talking to somebody not too long ago about when you retired. Even if you're worth millions, you miss that.
Yeah,
sure. You can't buy that.
No,
you have to learn.
Oh, you loved your work.
This is
cool. You won more games than anybody there. You were a great player. Is the all-time highlight for you the one we just played, winning the championship? Or are there others that come to your mind? Other games, other days?
Well, you know what? We had some sad times. We can't ignore that. We have to pay attention to that. We had some great times. But I'll never forget the first time when I got back. I got traded back from Toronto to Philly. Favel went to Toronto. Perrant's back in town. So there was big headlines. Perrant is back in town. Should help the team win. Great. I stepped on the ice the first game. Big standing ovation. Wow, that was cool, man. And then 10 minutes later, Rangers had scored 8 goals. Talking about your ego coming down, But that's one side of the spectrum. Now, the other side is I'll never forget. As a matter of fact, last year we did the whole show at the Spectrum, and I got on the ice. Think about this. Wow. I stepped. There's no ice, of course, but I walked. The boards were there. I walked to where the net was. I stood there for 15 minutes, and we played what we just played here with Gene announcing the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. And you know what? It was so real. It was awesome.
You get chills.
Yeah, you get the chills.
And nothing got by you again.
I just imagine
nothing got by you.
I just imagine you clanking pipes.
Yeah.
How about this guy has a shutout to win the Stanley Cup in 1974, and the next year. It broke my heart a little bit, but you had a shutout to win the Stanley Cup in 1975. Back-to-back Conn Smythe trophies.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
They're when you look back, you say, wow. And it's all being at the right place at the right time. And I always said, you don't always get what you want, but you always get what you attract.
Yeah.
And dreaming about the Stanley Cup and the whole thing was the whole bit. But when it becomes a reality, it's different than your dreams. Dreams are always passing. It's like
brains, you're right.
But you get in reality, then it's it's a lot of work. But I always said when you're talking about the end of the last 10 seconds of the first Stanley Cup, you had 17, I think, 77 whatever. And you know what? And I always said this before, I always believed this. was a big part in us to win because you know what, you have a good, exciting crowd. It elevates you to a level that makes you perform better.
You think back to those games and you know, on a Thursday night, how that play. A Thursday night in December. Well, actually, the ice show was here, so Thursday night in January and in March, leading up to the play, doesn't matter. They were always here, and I still can see all the one jerseys. Everybody, what's it like to sit there, to get ready, watching your eyes gravitating toward the crowd, and to see people wearing your jersey?
Well, actually, my kids gave them away, it is incredible, because it's been a long time. When you think about this in 74, 75, that's a long time ago. And still, you know what? You have to give credit to the people, the organization, and the one name is Ed Snyder. What he's done with this, to me, you know what? People don't realize this, but Ed Snyder, the first year of the Flyers, was sitting with his wife in his kitchen, and they both crying, trying to figure out how they were going to meet the payroll.
Yeah.
And look,
it almost didn't make the whole thing.
Think about this. That's scary. But you had a vision, and because of one man's vision, look what happened.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Oh, that's true. That's a great point.
Yep.
Hey, I want to ask you another story, just an offbeat story. Was it you or was it Favell?
Had to be Favell.
Who lost the puck in the sun one day?
That was me.
That was you. Tell that. It's a great story. He lost the puck in the sun.
Well, inside building, but remember, in those days, where we defended twice, there was a window at the end of the building. Actually, the sun was coming in.
They played an afternoon game.
And I have to blame it on something. Of course, the sun came in. Sure. So, but we had, and then if you look a little bit, I want to share this because it's important. This year was the 25th year that we have lost Pelly Lindbergh. And I'm looking at this building here. You look at when we won the championship. I also remember when I had to give the eulogy in front of 17,000 people.
Wow.
Those are tough times, And and I share this because we think we have lots of time. If you would have asked Pelly half hour before he passed away, he was only 26, how much time you had left to live, he would have said at least 50 years.
Sure.
He didn't have 30 minutes. So what's the point?
And I guess that's the thing. I mean, we're saying goodbye to this building, and for you, it's got to be so. It's really kind of bittersweet in the sense that all this time has passed. Because we're doing, you talk about memories, and I'm sure in your mind, it's like yesterday that you were standing on the ice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's the beauty of the mind.
We take it back in a second.
You play, and it takes you back there, and it's beautiful.
Bernie, nobody wanted to play you guys. Nobody wanted to come into Philadelphia. Talk a little bit about just how intimidating it was for other teams to come in with the team, with you and Nat, with the fans in the seats, what that place was like for out-of-towners.
Well, we have to go back the first year when we played against St. Louis Blues. And they clobbered us physically. We just got
sticking Noel
Picard, and I'm sure some of you people remember this. And I always said, in your greatest defeat comes your greatest victory. And I'll never forget this, Snyder banging his fist on the table and said, "We'll never go through this again." And you know what? He turned this around. He hired Keith Allen was the coach then. Bud Foyle was the GM. He brought Keith Allen as a GM. And they brought the right players, Schultz, Kelly, Zaleski, and all those guys, and that's what changed. That's what changed the history of the team. But we and don't forget we had a good team. And Phil,
you guys had talent. People only remember the top, but you guys had talent.
Phil Esposito said it right. He said, "You just don't win on being tough. You have to have talent."
You had in front of you a great defense. You were always playing short-handed, right? Because there was always somebody in the box, but the defense would help you, and you were brilliant back there. You had guys who could score, who could pass, who could hit.
And we had, in my estimation, the greatest coach, Fred Sherrill.
Yeah, he was such an interesting character.
Yeah.
Freddie was, Bog, and he spoke in these kind of grand terms, right? I mean, he kind of spoke esoterically, and when you guys when he would talk, sometimes you probably were like, what's he talking about?
Well, Freddie, of course, was a great philosopher, and I remember I have a quick little story about him. He stayed at I had 2 homes down the shore in Wildwood, and he rented the place one summer, him and his family, the whole bit. So he had the 2 boys, and one is
Pittsburgh,
yeah, GM for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So the boys said, let's go fishing. I had a 40-foot boat. So we went out about 50 miles out to catch some tuna. Now, remember, folks, Freddie gets sick. The boys are fine, but Freddie got seasick. So he's laying down on the couch. He's not moving. So, gracefully, I asked the boys, what should we do? The boys said, let's keep fishing. Okay. So we kept fishing. So after a while, I came down below to ask him how he was feeling. And, he used to do with his glasses all the time, tip his glasses. He said, not very good. I said, Freddie, you remember all the stop and starts? You made me do one day.
Sure.
Wow.
I said, now we're even.
That's great.
That's
that
such
was
a
cool.
great story.
Oh, yeah, true story. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, here it is. It's if I said to you, Bernie, say goodbye to this place, what would you say?
Au revoir, mon ami.
Good stuff. Bernie, we love you. We really do.
We'll be back and lots to do here today as we say goodbye to the Spectrum. And by the way, congratulations to John Madonna. He has won the 19-inch Samsung HDTV courtesy contest. Thanks to our sponsor, Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST today for great HD offers. If you haven't signed up for Comcast, you can place your